I want to be richer than my father. I want to marry my mother. Ogili chuckled darkly. The gods frown upon such desires, but I can help you. However, know that the path you are about to take is one of no return. Once you have walked it, there will be no forgiveness, no redemption. In the heart of the ancient Igbo land, a village named Umuike stood as a beacon of prosperity, surrounded by thick forests, rolling hills, and vast farmlands. The people of Umuike were known for their resilience, rich culture, and unwavering respect for tradition. Among them lived a family that was envied by all, the family of Ezodu. Ezodu was a man of great wealth, power, and influence. He was a chief respected by many and feared by others. His wealth was the result of hard work, wise investments, and the blessings of the gods. Ezeudu's wife, Nwanyibuife, was a woman of unparalleled beauty. Her skin was the color of the richest mahogany, her eyes sparkled like the stars, and her smile could light up the darkest of nights. She was not just beautiful but also kind-hearted, wise and deeply loved by her husband and the people of Umuike. Together they had a son, Obinwan, who was destined to inherit his father's wealth and continue the family's legacy. However, the path of destiny is not always straight, and what was meant to be a blessing turned into a curse that would haunt the family for generations. Obinwani was born on a cold Harmattan night, the wind howling through the trees as if the spirits were mourning. His birth was celebrated with great pomp and ceremony, for he was the only son of Ezeudu, the one who would carry on the family name. The elders predicted greatness for him, and his father ensured that he lacked nothing. From a young age, Obinwane was exposed to the ways of the world. He learned the art of trade, the secrets of farming, and the wisdom of the elders. But as Obinwan grew, so did his admiration for his mother. Nwanyibuife's beauty was timeless, and even as she aged, she remained as captivating as she was in her youth. The villagers often whispered about how the gods must have crafted her with special care, for no mortal woman could possess such beauty. These whispers, however, planted a seed of desire in Obinwane's heart, an unnatural, forbidden desire. As Obinwane matured into a man, his admiration for his mother took on a darker shade. He began to see her not just as his mother but as a woman more beautiful than any he had ever seen. He became jealous of his father Ezeudu for having such a wife. This jealousy festered and turned into an obsession. Obinwan's thoughts became consumed with the idea of possessing his mother, a desire so twisted that it drove him to madness. He could no longer bear to see his father and mother together, the love they shared only fueling his anger and envy. He convinced himself that his father did not deserve her, that he, Obinwane, was the only one worthy of such a woman. The villagers began to notice a change in Obinwane. He became withdrawn, his once bright and cheerful demeanor replaced with coldness and cruelty. He distanced himself from his peers and spent long hours alone in the forest, brooding over his dark thoughts. One day, as he sat by the river that flowed through Umuike, an idea took root in his mind, a plan that would rid him of his father and allow him to claim his mother for himself. He knew it was forbidden, that the gods would curse him for such a vile act, but his desire had blinded him to reason. Obinwane began to plot against his father. He sought out a powerful dibia, medicine man, named Ogili, who was known for his knowledge of dark magic. Ogili lived deep in the forest in a hut surrounded by skulls and bones. The villagers feared him, for it was said that he could command the spirits of the dead and bend them to his will. When Obinwane arrived at Ogili's hut, the dibia welcomed him with a knowing smile as if he had been expecting him. "I know why you have come," Ogili said, his voice as cold as the wind that blew through the trees. "You wish to destroy your father and take what is his." Obianuju was startled, but he did not deny it. "Yes," he replied, his voice trembling with a mixture of fear and determination. "I want to be richer than my father. I want to marry my mother." Ogili chuckled darkly. "The gods frown upon such desires, but I can help you. However, know that the path you are about to take is one of no return. Once you have walked it, there will be no forgiveness, no redemption." Obianuju hesitated for a moment, but his desire outweighed his fear. "I am ready," he said. Ogili led Obianuju to a clearing in the forest where a large ancient tree stood. The tree was said to be as old as the land itself, its roots stretching deep into the earth, connecting with the spirits of the ancestors. Ogili began to chant, calling upon the dark spirits to aid them. The wind picked up, and the sky darkened as the spirits gathered. Obianuju watched in awe as Ogili drew a circle around the tree with white chalk, then placed a small calabash at its base. Inside the calabash was a concoction of herbs, blood, and other ingredients known only to Ogili. The dibia handed Obianuju a small knife. "You must make a sacrifice," Ogili said. "Blood must be spilled to seal the pact." Without hesitation, Obianuju cut his palm and let the blood drip into the calabash. The mixture bubbled and hissed, releasing a foul-smelling smoke. Ogili chanted louder, his voice rising above the wind. The spirits responded, their whispers filling the air, promising wealth and power in exchange for Obianuju's soul. With the pact sealed, Ogili gave Obianuju a small amulet. "Wear this, and your father will fall ill. His wealth will become yours, and no one will be able to stop you from marrying your mother. But beware, for the gods are watching and they do not forgive easily." Obianuju took the amulet and left the forest, his heart heavy with the weight of his decision. He knew he had crossed a line, but there was no turning back. Obianuju returned to the village and followed Ogili's instructions. He placed the amulet under his father's pillow and waited. Within days, Ezeudu fell gravely ill. The once strong and powerful man was reduced to a shadow of his former self. No medicine could cure him, and the villagers feared that he had been cursed by the gods. As Ezeudu's condition worsened, Obianuju took control of his father's wealth. He expanded the family's businesses, made shrewd investments, and soon became richer than Ezeudu had ever been. The villagers marveled at his success, but they also noticed a change in him. Obianuju became more arrogant, cruel, and distant. He no longer cared for the people or the land, only for his own desires. Nwanyibuife was heartbroken by her husband's illness and her son's transformation. She prayed to the gods, asking for their mercy, but her prayers went unanswered. She could see the darkness that had taken hold of Obianuju, but she did not know how to stop it. One night, as Ezeudu lay on his deathbed, Obianuju approached him. The old man looked up at his son with a mixture of sadness and anger. "You have betrayed me, Obianuju," he whispered. "The gods will not let you go unpunished." Obianuju felt a pang of guilt, but he quickly pushed it aside. "I am now the head of this family," he said coldly. "You are weak, and you no longer deserve what you have. I will take it all, including Nwanyibuife." Ezeudu's eyes widened in shock and horror. "She is your mother!" he gasped. "You cannot do this." "I can and I will," Obianuju replied, his voice dripping with malice. "You are no longer a threat to me. Soon you will be dead, and everything you have will be mine." With that, Obianuju turned and left his father to die alone. That night, Ezeudu passed away, leaving behind a legacy tainted by his son's greed and betrayal. After Ezudu's death, Obinwan wasted no time in pursuing his twisted desire. He declared his intention to marry Nwanyibuife, shocking the entire village. The elders were outraged, for such a marriage was not only forbidden by tradition, but also by the laws of the gods. They warned Obinwani that he was courting disaster, that the gods would surely punish him for his sins. But Obinwan was blinded by his obsession. He dismissed the elders' warnings and proceeded with his plans. He arranged a lavish wedding, sparing no expense to show off his newfound wealth. The villagers, though horrified, attended the ceremony out of fear and respect for Obinwane's power. Nwanyibuife, however, was devastated. She could not understand how her son had become so consumed by darkness. She tried to reason with him, to remind him of the love they once shared as mother and son, but Obinwan would not listen. He was determined to have her no matter the cost. On the day of the wedding, the sky was dark and the air was thick with tension. The village was silent, the people too afraid to speak out against the abomination that was about to take place. As Obinwane and Nwanyibuife stood before the priest, the heavens wept and thunder rumbled in the distance. The priest, a man of great faith, hesitated before performing the ceremony. He looked into Obinwane's eyes and saw the darkness that lay within. "The gods will not bless this union," he warned. "You are committing a grave sin." Obinwane sneered. "The gods are powerless before me," he declared. "I am richer than any man in this village, and I will have what I desire." Reluctantly, the priest began the ceremony. As he spoke the words that would bind them, a bolt of lightning struck the ground nearby, causing everyone to gasp in fear. But Obinwan was undeterred. He completed the vows and took Nwanyibuife as his wife, sealing his fate. That night, as Obinwan lay beside his mother-turned-wife, the ground beneath the village began to tremble. The villagers awoke in terror as the earth shook, the trees swayed, and the animals howled. It was as if the land itself was crying out in pain. Obinwane rushed outside, only to find that the once fertile fields had turned barren, the rivers had dried up, and the skies had turned blood-red. The village was engulfed in darkness, and the air was thick with the stench of death. The elders gathered in the village square, their faces etched with fear. "The gods have cursed us," one of them said. "This is the punishment for Obinwane's sins." As the villagers watched in horror, Obinwan's wealth began to crumble before his eyes. His businesses failed, his crops withered, and his livestock died. The riches he had amassed vanished as quickly as they had come, leaving him with nothing. Desperate, Obinwan returned to Ogili, the dibia who had helped him before. But when he arrived at the hut, he found it empty. Ogili had disappeared, leaving behind only a single word scrawled on the wall: "Cursed." Realizing that he had been abandoned, Obinwan fell to his knees and wept. He had sacrificed everything for his twisted desire, and now he was paying the price. The gods had taken everything from him: his wealth, his power, and even his mother. Nwanyibuife, who had been forced into the marriage, could no longer bear the weight of her son's sins. She fled the village, disappearing into the forest, never to be seen again. Some say she was taken by the spirits, while others believe she took her own life to escape the shame. Obinwan was left alone, a broken man. His once great name became a curse, and the villagers shunned him. He wandered the land, begging for food and shelter, but no one would take him in. His wealth had turned to dust, his power had faded, and his beauty had withered away. Years passed, and Obinwan became a shadow of his former self. The once proud son of Ezeudu was now a beggar, haunted by the ghosts of his past. The villagers spoke of him only in hushed tones, using his story as a cautionary tale for their children. But the gods, though vengeful, are also merciful. One day, as Obinwani wandered through the forest, he came upon an old shrine dedicated to Allah, the earth goddess. The shrine was overgrown with weeds, forgotten by the villagers, but still held a sense of sacredness. Obinwani fell to his knees before the shrine and prayed for forgiveness. He confessed his sins, weeping for all he had done. He begged Allah to lift the curse, to grant him a chance at redemption. For days he remained at the shrine, fasting and praying, until he was weak and delirious. On the seventh day, a vision appeared before him, a vision of his mother, Nwanyibuife. She looked as beautiful as she had in life, her face filled with sorrow. "Obinwani," she said softly, "you have brought great suffering upon our family and our people, but the gods are willing to forgive if you are truly repentant." Obinwani sobbed, "I am, mother. I am sorry for everything. I was blinded by my desire, and I destroyed all that was good in my life." Nwanyibuife nodded. "The gods will lift the curse, but you must atone for your sins. You will spend the rest of your days serving the people you have wronged. Only through humility and selflessness can you find peace." With those words, the vision faded, and Obinwani was left alone once more. But he felt a change within him, a sense of peace he had not known in years. Returning to the village, Obinwani dedicated himself to helping others. He rebuilt the shrine to Allah, tended to the sick, and shared what little he had with those in need. The villagers, though still wary, began to see the change in him. Slowly they accepted him back, though they never forgot the darkness that had once consumed him. In time, the land began to heal. The fields became fertile again, the rivers flowed, and the skies returned to their natural blue. The curse was lifted, but the memory of Obinwani's sins remained. Obinwan lived out the rest of his days in humility, dedicating himself to the service of others. He never regained his wealth or power, but he found something far more valuable: peace. When he passed away, the villagers buried him beside his father, Eziudu, and his mother, Nwanyibuife, in a simple grave marked only by a small stone. If you enjoyed this story, kindly leave a comment and also subscribe to the channel for more amazing stories. Thanks for watching.